therapist and married man, Paul Henreid, and her transformation is told through costume. To speak more about Now Voyager and costume designer Ori Kelly's transformational designs, it's my privilege to introduce our very special guest tonight. But first, please remember to focus on the sounds and images emanating from this beautiful screen behind me and not the one in your purses or pockets. So please silence, stow, extinguish all cellular devices, smartwatches, etc. Even if you need to check the time, you can step down into the stairway. We want an unadulterated viewing experience here.
Absolutely.
And also a reminder, no eating in our theaters, please. And I also want to encourage you to sign up to become a museum insider. You'll be the first to know about screenings, including our upcoming March, April, May season, which is just about to be announced in mere days. We're so excited for so many of the programs that we have during that quarter. And you can also pick up one of our print calendars on your way out this evening if you did not get one on your way in. Deborah Nadoolman Landis, PhD, is a costume designer, historian, and endowed chair of UCLA's School of Theater, Film, and Television. Landis is the founding director of the David C. Copley Center for Costume Design. Landis received an MFA in costume design from UCLA and a PhD in the history of design from the Royal College of Art, London. Her distinguished career includes Animal House, The Blues Brothers, An American Werewolf in London, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Trading Places, The Three Amigos, Coming to America, for which she was nominated for an Academy Award, and the groundbreaking music video, Michael Jackson's Thriller. Would you please join me in welcoming to the stage, Deborah Nadoolman Landis.
Hello, everybody, and happy Valentine's Day to you. I don't know, this movie makes me very uncomfortable.
Oh.
I had a very tortured relationship with my mother too.
Oh.
So I'm here to talk a little bit about Now Voyager and a little bit about costume design and one of my very favorite costume designers, Ori Kelly, who is a master of every single genre. But really the first thing I want to talk about is transformation and how costume designers facilitate performance, because costume design and performance are paired. You can't take one away from another. They're paired just like this. And you all should know and should take up or take in that when you see any great performance, any performance that touches you, the costume is also working very hard. The actor doesn't have to say much, doesn't have to say anything at all, but somehow that performance is reaching you in the audience, reaching us in the audience. In about a month is going to be the Academy Awards. I want you to think about those great performances. And I want you to think about everything it takes to make a great performance and the partnership between the costume designer and those actors. Okay, do you promise?
Promise.
You promise? So when that Oscar comes to those actors, the Oscar is shared by all the collaborators who helped make that performance great, right? Okay. So now we're going to start with transformation.
But don't you think my dress?
Yes, it's lovely, dear. Lovely. Good heavens, child. You can't go in that. Now, let's see, dear. Your size and the shade of your eyes. Something simple, but daring too. Oh, just leave it to me. What a gown this will be. Bibbidi-bobbidi, bibbidi-bobbidi, bibbidi-bobbidi.
Oh, it's a beautiful dress. Did you ever see such a beautiful dress? And look, glass slippers.
And that hair is so now Voyager. Voyager is it. So Ella Cinders, 1926, costume designed by Cora McGeechee. I have this habit of just crediting the costume designer. She was oppressed and abused by her stepmother and stepsisters. We know the story. She wins a contest for a film role in Hollywood. When the costume turns out to be fraudulent, she determines to stay and achieve Hollywood stardom the hard way. You all know about Sabrina. Sabrina was actually a tortured job for Edith Head, who designed the pre-Paris clothes when Sabrina was simply the daughter of the chauffeur, went to Paris, became a vendeuse, met a guy, came back with Givenchy, and Miss Head stood on the stage, accepted the Oscar, and never mentioned that guy's name, Givenchy. My Fair Lady, before and after, ugly duckling to beautiful swan. And we will hear that word, ugly duckling, in our movie. Also, Grease. You know, Albert Wolski designed this movie. When I saw it at the Bruin in Westwood for the first time, I screamed at the screen. I was so angry that she had to look like that to get the guy, right? Pretty Woman. These are, this is Hollywood's favorite thing to do, is to transform, designed by Marilyn Vance. Made in Manhattan, another Albert Wolski, but he picked a pink vintage Bob Mackie dress to transform Jennifer Lopez's character Marissa from housekeeper to the belle of the ball. This is something we love to do. In Devil Wears Prada, I think you can remember what was said about this blue sweater. I hope you remember. And then this is Queen Latifah in The Last Holiday. Daniel Orlandi found it more difficult to design the frumpy version of Georgia, since Queen Latifah's personality, he said, was so strong and so beautiful. For the red gown, which he designed, over hot pink, he said, I looked at a lot of old Hollywood movies. We wanted that sweep of chiffon when she walked in, and there was a little bit of a breeze. So this impact, and you're going to see it on Charlotte Vale, this impact of the first time you see her, it takes your breath away. And that's part of our job too. It's grit and it's glamour. You can't have the after unless you have the before. You have to have this transformational suffering. You have to be crying by the fireplace and by the ashes, unloved, so that you can be at the top of the stairs like Charlotte Vale will and say, what, is it too much lipstick? So this transformation is generated by this tremendous journey of these stars, or I should say of these people. So here, same thing. Rachel has to navigate between the worlds of old and new money. And Mary Vogt, the costume designer, said she looked like an all-American girl to start, and a little bit of a fish out of water going into this other world. So here is something about Ori Kelly, this amazing man. And I'm going to read you a little bit about him. He was born in Kiama, New South Wales, Australia, kind of in the middle of nowhere, to Irish immigrant parents. He studied art in Sydney and worked as a tailor's apprentice and a window dresser. It wasn't long before he moved to New York to pursue an acting career, and he was soon illustrating title cards for silent films at Fox in the East Coast studios. Kelly also launched a Broadway career and designed costumes and sets for revues. When he moved to Hollywood in 1932, are you ready for these air quotes? Ready for the air quotes? His best friend, Cary Grant, who he brought with him from New York City, urged him to submit his design portfolio to Warner Brothers. Kelly was offered a position as an assistant if the top stars, actresses Ruth Chatterton and Kay Francis, approved of his sketches. Well, they did, and he was given the tip when he created his portfolio of sketches for Chatterton and for Kay Francis. He was given a tip to make those ladies in the sketches look like the actresses, and of course they loved that. They did. He designed 300 films during his career, and he won 3 Academy Awards for Best Costume Design. For An American in Paris, it's true there were other designers like Miss Sheriff working with him, Les Girls, and Some Like It Hot, and he was nominated for Gypsy. He was really a favorite of mine. All right, he had a long relationship, a long friendship, partnership with Miss Davis. Ori Kelly designed the costumes for more than 40 of Betty Davis's films, and I think I can show you. Oh, this is about, I'm gonna leave this one out. He said, working with Betty Davis isn't easy. Can you imagine? But she's worth it. She's honest and outspoken. She's one of the very few actresses I know who can look in the mirror and tell herself the truth. When I'm ready to give up and throw out a dress, she'll give it a hitch or a twist and turn it into something great. And actually, that's a story for another movie. Betty Davis said, Ori knew how to dress ladies as well as glamour queens. Like Edith Head, he understood that his creations were meant to enhance the actress, not the star of the production. So for now Voyager, Ori Kelly said, I dressed Bette for the character she had to play. She was an actress who had a job to do, and it was mine to help her do it. Now Voyager was made in 1942 during World War II, when the US was concerned with the rationing of fabric, and the name of that rationing was called the L-85. So you'll notice that Ori Kelly designed many very narrow pencil skirts for the film. These are just some of the 40 films that they worked on together. Davis missed her dear collaborator when he finally left the studio in 1943. She said, for me, Warner Brothers without Ori Kelly was as if I had lost my right arm.
Wow.
His contribution to my career was an enormous one. He never featured his clothes to such a degree that the performance was overshadowed. That is such high praise. Every costume designer wishes that their actor would talk about them that way. So I want you to have a wonderful evening. I want you to think about one thing. There's a moment in the movie where Paul Henry says, do you believe in immortality? Well, I'm sure that I do, because when I was watching this film and looking at Paul Henry and looking at Betty Davis, I thought, they are immortal. Thank you.